Hey, Frank and Arlo. Grandpa coming to you from the Vatican. I'm in Ormond Beach, Florida. I went to a Wawa, got me some coffee, and then I found this park called Central Park. Very nice little park. It has a labyrinth. Labyrinths are very interesting. I've always wanted to walk one. You walk them and you meditate. We're going to talk about that either today or I haven't decided whether this is going to be one or two videos talking about time traveling. But we'll either talk about it in this video or the next. I assumed that labyrinths were a lot like mazes where they have these bushes trimmed, they're real high, and you can't see your way out of them, and you go through and you hit dead ends and stuff. But this one was just this giant circle with a path that went through it. And by the time you're done, you completely fill in the entire circle with your feet. You go up and down these little places and you hit little turnarounds and go back and around. It's pretty cool. What I did is I meditated while I was walking the labyrinth, which they tell you to do. And then when I got to the center, so halfway through, I prayed for you guys, all three of you. Right now, there's a little baby girl on the way. She hasn't been named yet. She's going to be born right around my 70th birthday. So, and hopefully she'll get a chance to watch a lot of these videos. Maybe there's some that your parents won't let you watch. Frank, you don't have to worry about it because your parents are going to let you watch anything you want. But Arlo, and I know some names, but I'm not going to mention them because I don't want this little girl to, like 15 years from now, go, Mom, you were going to name me what? So I'll let Courtney deal with naming her daughter. But today I want to talk about time travel. You know, since a long, long time ago, people have been fascinated with, like, what if we could travel into the future or into the past? Wouldn't that be great? You know, we could change the past and we can see what we're going to be like in the future and blah, blah, blah. Well, you can. So I'm going to tell you about how to travel to 3 times. I'm going to tell you how to travel to the future, how to travel to the past, and then how to travel to the present. And for each one of those 3 things, I'm going to tell you the dangers of doing it, and I'm going to tell you the rewards of doing it. So first, let's talk about traveling into the future. Now, I like to think about my life in, well, I call it the rule of 5s. I don't know if that's what it's called. I didn't invent this, but I heard it one time and I thought, yeah, this makes sense. 3 things. Where do I want to be in 5 days? Where do I want to be in 5 months? And where do I want to be in 5 years? And these are all times in the future. So wouldn't it be great if you said, okay, in 5 years I want to own a yacht? Wouldn't it be great to be able to travel into the future and see if it came true? Well, you kind of can. You can visit future you. What do I mean by that? say you have a test coming up next Wednesday, and if you took the test right now, you would fail. You could visit you next Wednesday and visualize yourself successfully taking the test. Then, as you're visualizing yourself, say, what do I need to do to make that vision reality? And then take the first step. Usually, if you take the first step, you're going to go, oh, yeah, I'm getting better, and you'll continue doing it. So I always tell people, and I actually teach a course on Udemy called One Small Step. And it's about figuring out where you need to be and taking a step in that direction. So what would that step be? Taking a test. Go in, look at your book. They might have questions at the end of the chapters. Answer the questions. Do you know anything about what was in the chapters? If they don't have that, go in and make a test. Just look at the main themes in all the chapters that you're going to be tested on, and make up questions. They won't be the exact questions that are on the test, but you'll get an idea if you understand the concepts that you're going to be tested on. And then you can say, what I need to do is I need to study 3 hours a day. I need to retake this test every day. Whatever it is, you'll be able to figure out what that is, and then you can do it. So that's the near future, 5 days or whatever, 10 days, however. In school, it's usually going to be these things like I have this in a week, or this at the end of the semester. You have finals, you have midterms, and your life is going to be based on that. So you focus on the short term. But say it's a long-term goal, and you say, I want to be a millionaire in 5 years. Now, right now, maybe you don't even have a job. Arlo, your job is making sure that you don't poop your pants anymore. That's your job. Pretty soon you're going to start school, and then you'll be a student. That'll be your job. But Frank, I don't know what you're doing right now. Maybe you don't have a job. I suspect you're not a millionaire, because you would have let me know. But visualize yourself. Now, maybe that vision is you sitting there lighting a stogie with $100 bill, like, yeah. Hopefully you're not that much of an a-hole, any of the three of you. But whatever successful you would look like, driving a new car, having a nice house, kids in a good school, all those kind of things, visualize yourself. And just like with the test, figure out what you need to start doing now to make that vision a reality. So, what's that look like? I'm going to save $5 a week. Say you're working at McDonald's, and there's nothing wrong with working at McDonald's. A lot of people get started working at McDonald's. A lot of people have worked at McDonald's their whole lives, put their kids through college and stuff like that. But when you start off, you don't make a lot of money. And you probably spend all your money just living. But start by taking $5 and saving it. And then no matter what, you don't touch that money. Start by going, instead of going to Starbucks and spending $8 for something that takes a minute and a half to order, make coffee at home. Because you're going to save $7.50. Make your coffee at home, take it in a travel mug. Maybe it's going to night school to better yourself. Oh, I've wanted to learn to be a welder. I've wanted to get my master's degree. That's one that I did. I did it when I was in my late 50s. Mid-50s I started and finished in 2012. So I was 59 years old when I graduated from the University of Miami with a Master of Arts in Liberal Studies. I didn't need it, but it taught me a lot, and it made me the kind of person who now has confidence to be able to sit here and make these videos that you're going to be watching when I'm dead and gone. Part of the reason that I can do that is because I went and studied. I studied the classics, and I studied psychology and psychiatry, history. And we're going to talk about that. So, or maybe it's not going to night school. Maybe it's just taking a giant leap of faith. Maybe your one small step is going to be a big step. I'm going to start a business. Could be anything. Just because you start a business doesn't mean you're going to be in that business forever. But if that's the best way for you to make money, that's the best thing to do. You're not going to be a millionaire if you're still working at McDonald's or you're unemployed or whatever it is. You're not going to be a millionaire in 5 years. But maybe you could, I don't know, wash windows. If you have a truck and you can put a ladder on it and some rags and a bucket and squeegees, whoop, now I'm a window washer. Whatever it is, just do it. Do it. Now, what are the dangers of traveling to the future and visiting future you? Well, usually when we look to the future, we do it with anxiety or fear or both. We often worry about the future instead of looking forward to it. What are the rewards of visiting future you, of spending time in the future? Well, if you continue visiting future you throughout the next 5 years, because while you're doing hey, I want to be a millionaire in 5 years, you're going to be saying, what do I have to do in 5 days? What do I have to do in 5 months? And what ultimately do I want to do? And your 5-year window is going to keep going out. As you get closer to becoming a millionaire, then maybe it's going to be, well, I want to make $2 million, whatever it is. As you continue to visit future you and then take the steps necessary to make him or her a reality. Sorry, little girl, I'm just used to saying he's, and it'll take me a little while to make sure that I'm talking to you too. Future you will become present you, and present you will become future you. You'll morph into future you. Is it going to be without any roadblocks or bumps? No, nothing works that way. You're going to have some of your dreams go up in flames. But if you continue to do it, you will make a lot of your dreams come true. So second, let's look at how to travel into the past. And we spend a lot of time thinking about the past. But what do we think about? We remember our failures. We remember our disappointments, our letdowns. We remember people who just did us wrong. Man, that dude just did me wrong. And this is never productive. dwelling on the past, worrying about the future and dwelling in the past are never, ever, ever productive. So this is completely different than traveling into the future. When you travel into the past, well, let's put it this way. Did you ever find yourself saying, man, I wish I was alive when Jesus walked the earth, and I wish I was there? Because you could have been alive and in China or wherever, whatever Indian tribe is in the part of the United States you live in. You could have been there. You wouldn't have known who Jesus was. It's not like you would have gone over there to see Jesus. But, hey, Grandpa, I wish that I'd been alive when Jesus was there. So I wanted to hear him talk. Or I wish I was alive when Albert Einstein was going around doing lectures. I wish I had gone to hear Albert Einstein, because he's my hero, or whoever it is. Well, my dad, your great-grandpa, he actually saw a lecture at his high school, which was the old Northeast Philly High School on Lehigh Avenue in Philadelphia, which is now Edison High School. I forget when it was, maybe 1910 or something. Albert Einstein visited his high school and gave a talk to the students. But we can't do that. Einstein's been dead and gone for a long, long time. Well, what can you do? Some people will take Einstein. You can watch videos of them. I'm sure there's videoed speeches of Einstein. So when somebody says, you know what Einstein says, and they tell you some nonsense, you can go, well, maybe he said that, maybe he didn't. But I watched some videos of him, and I know some things that he did say. I don't remember him saying what you're telling me he said. So you gain knowledge about people from the past with videos. Jesus, no videos of him. There probably will be when he comes back, and we're reading through the book of Revelation, so we're to the point where he's getting ready to come back. And I'm sure people will be they won't be taking selfies with him, but they'll be videoing like, hey, what's going on? And then they'll get melted. But that's another story for another day. But you can read eyewitness accounts by people from history. Now, we use the Bible just because I'm very familiar with it. The Gospels are eyewitness accounts by people who walked the earth with Jesus. I believe they are the infallible Word of God, but whether you believe that or not, they're evidence. So you can say, yeah, well, Jesus did such and so. Well, I don't know if he did that, but it's not in the Bible. So why do you think he did that? Well, he came to me in a vision. Oh, okay. Beware of people who tell you they have visions. They usually want you to do something. They're usually trying to tell you that they're better than you and that they want you to become followers of them or give them money. They're mountebanks. Mountebanks are people, and we did this in our video series on how to acquire a fascinating vocabulary. Mountebanks are these people that come into town and they get up on a bench. They mount the bench and they sell you snake oil. They sell you something that doesn't do what they say it's going to do. And then they leave and you go, hey, this stuff doesn't work. So let's talk about the dangers of going to the past. You read history. Who writes history? The victors. You read a history of World War II, it's going to be written by the people who won the war, the United States, Great Britain, and Russia. It's not going to be written by the Germans. I'm sure they have a completely different spin on it. So you want to really be careful what you, excuse me, what you study and what you believe. But if you do that, if you vet the authors, because you want to know the truth, you don't want to know somebody's opinion. People change history. That's another danger. They say, yeah, this is what happened in 1776. It's not what's in the history books. Well, why do you say that? And they have to present evidence. Good books have footnotes, and you can go to the sources and see who it is that these people are getting their facts from. You want to do that. You want to read scholarly books. Not only scholarly books, but you want to read a lot of scholarly books, and you want to vet the authors by looking at the footnotes and testing those footnotes. If you do that, if you read eyewitness accounts of historical figures, if you read history deeply, if you read, even people like Jung and Freud, psychiatrists who kind of invented psychiatry, there are people today that believe very little of what those guys said that are psychiatrists. But you'll know a lot. You'll know how psychiatry got to be where it is today. And so if you do those things, the rewards are enormous. Because, first off, students of history are more interesting than people who aren't. People who aren't students of history have opinions that are based on their feelings. People who are students of history, if you have two of them in the same room, they may be diametrically opposed to each other, but they've both come by their opinions honestly. And what do I mean by honestly? They tried to filter out their emotions, and they tried to at least boil down the facts and pull them out. Like they say, eat the meat, spit out the bones. Now, there's something called confirmation bias that we're going to talk about in a couple of lectures when we talk about logical fallacies, where people tend to go and look for facts to support what they already believe. So there's that. But I'll help you battle with that in your own life. You're not going to be able to change people's minds about anything, really. Students of history make great leaders. People like Churchill, people like Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, the list goes on. They studied history deeply because you want to learn the lessons of history. And students of history have a stronger and better perspective on current events. There's an old saw that those who don't learn from history are going to repeat it, meaning the bad things that happened, say, in World War II when 60 million people were killed. If you don't study that and figure out how to cause that to not happen again, that will happen. And lastly, students of history are harder for the political mountebanks to fool. They don't vote with their heart as much as they vote with their heads. Once again, do they always vote for the right person? They think they do. But I would rather have a room full of scholars who disagree with me than a room full of non-scholars of history who agree with me. Because I'll have a much more interesting conversation. And who knows? They may convince me that some of what I believe, or maybe even all of what I believe, is incorrect. So now we're up to 25 and a half minutes. I'm going to do traveling to the present next time. And so once again, we traveled to the future, we traveled to the past, we looked at the dangers of both, and then the rewards of both. So I invite all three of you to become time travelers. Visit yourself in the future and study the past, and you'll become a better person. Peace out.